Hi, welcome to Week 7 podcast of the Jabroni Sports Network. We're doing our preview here, a little preemptive to waiver claims, get it out of the way. We're confident that we can deliver the information just as adequate.
And this time maybe we can help you along your way. If you still haven't made your waiver selections and you're watching this between now and tomorrow morning, this could help you out. Or if people were still available afterwards.
We're going to jump into power rankings. I'm going to go with Kevin on top, number 1, the Clearwater Dolphin Tails 2, followed by myself, Dunning Devils, at number 2. And then we're going to do the Porpoises. Now, the Porpoises have made great strides in the last couple weeks. They have become a true contender in this league. So we're going to give them the number 3 slot. Number 4 will be Team Dope Rage. Had a lot of injuries, man, and it's been rough, but he's still, he's winning. Didn't beat me, but he's still winning, Still got a good record, 4-2, so he's earned the spot of number 4. Then OG Cormier, number 5. I had him at 5 last week. He's at 5 in the standings this week, if not lower. I haven't checked. I think
he is number 5 in the standings.
He is number 5.
He's on the cusp of the playoffs.
Cusp.
I think he's going to do a little bit better with Calvin Johnson back. So we'll see. We'll see how.
Hopefully. He had promise in the beginning, and he's pumped the brakes really hard the last couple of weeks. It's been rough for him. I feel for him. And then we got Chalupa Batman rising in the ranks, number 6. Ha. And then Team Lobachek, number 7, not number 8, number 7. And then Trap Lords, biggest disappointment of the year, I think. I thought they were going to come out strong.
Yeah, I thought Jason's team was going to be in the top 4.
And they're in the bottom for me.
Yeah.
And I believe you got the same.
My power rankings are only slightly different. I got myself at number 1. Best record still, most consistent. Number 2, I got the Dunning Devils. Their ability to beat Wes last week really kind of, I'd say, put them ahead of the other 4-2 teams. I do have the Porpoises at number 3 also. I think that Wes has suffered a lot of injuries, so he is super slim on his bench. Doesn't have a lot of depth going on, and it's going to be difficult for him to continue, especially if something else would happen, any more injuries. He'd kind of be in a hole. So until I see that he, re-ups his bench is when I'll really consider him probably back into the top 3.
Maybe some hard trades.
Some hard trades or some pickups that go his way. Either way, he could rise back in the rankings. At number 5, I do have my older brother with the OG Cormier. I think he will, again, improve with Calvin Johnson returning.
I agree with that.
But we'll see. He's got a tough game this week. Even though he's playing Trap Lords, who are 1-5, they do have a pretty solid matchup going on. A lot rides on the New Orleans and Detroit game between the two of them.
Definitely.
So we'll be watching that one. They got the opposing quarterbacks. They've also got Calvin Johnson, etc. So we'll be checking up on that one. Then at number 6, got Chalupa Batman as well. Managed to pick up 2 wins. He's been improving every week. He's making some moves, doing his thing. And he's taken a team that really started out poorly, probably as the worst roster at the start. He's brought himself up.
It wasn't his fault.
A couple notches, yeah.
It wasn't
with
his
the
fault.
first pick.
That Microsoft tablet it glitched out, and he drafted the 1,482nd ranked player in the draft, dude.
Yeah. Well, we were all there mostly.
It was hilarious. I'm sorry,
but anyway,
that was
point
rough.
is, he took a team that was easily the worst and has improved and can now claim that he's better than 2 other teams. Next on the list, I do have the Trap Lords. I want to keep them above Team Lopacek only because they have the same record and the Trap Lords have managed to score more points. But I did drop them behind McGiblets, even though they have more points than McGiblets. They've steadily declined. A couple weeks ago, they had like the 2nd most points in the league, and now they're only at like number 6 total in points or something like that. So not super impressive anymore as far as that goes.
I will say, it's not that I had the Trap Lords down in number 8. because of the Trapwoods. I think they have a very impressive team.
But they've
And
just disappointed.
It's been close, and it's been disappointing. But I think it's because of what Eric showed me in our matchup last week, that he's got stuff. That he could set a lineup and that he could give someone a good fight.
Absolutely.
And I think that and that alone is the reason why I have Lobachek at number 7 and the Trapwoods at number 8. But they both need work.
Right. I'm gonna keep them the way they are with Eric's coming in at last, only because he's scored the least amount of points over the entire season, and he's tied for the worst record. The only other thing that bothers me about Eric's team is his lack of trades so far.
He's afraid of the trade.
He does seem to be afraid of the trade. I'll give him his own strategy, because he has managed to be kind of a pain in the ass some weeks to other teams.
I agree.
So I would say that he does have potential to get better, and I think that nobody is really a pushover in this league, and that no win is guaranteed. So anything can happen, and Eric could rise. I just think it's going to be really hard for him and Jason, with the record as it is, for them to make the playoffs, especially considering their teams with, 3 teams with 2 losses, and a team with 1 loss right now makes it so it's going to be really difficult for them to catch up.
So we're gonna
move on.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna go into our sponsors of the week. Sponsors: Magic Dragon Vapes. I'm switching back to vaping. I'm getting into it, and I'm loving this stuff. And I got a new box mod, so I'm very happy. I'm very pleased with them. Honestly, didn't go to the grocery store on my way here, so that's why I'm the sponsor. But I love them. And I love vape.
Excellent. Here, let me attempt this. Let me wait for the fog to clear.
Sure. You might need a fresh drip.
Drip her up.
Go ahead.
Haven't been vaping for a while. Probably should get back into it, quit my cigarettes or something. But I'm gonna try not to die.
Blowing clouds. Anyhow.
Right. So let's continue, because now I can't read the notes.
Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go over, since we're doing it before waivers, we're going to do the most opportune players that we each think in each position.
Yes, our positional pickups of the week, who we think are
a good target for you.
Maybe not necessarily always the best available player, but for specific reasons, specific situations, we've picked these players as top candidates for people that you should be targeting, or at least have on your radar when you're going through and trying to make your waivers this week. We're
both in agreement on our quarterback and our running backs. We both think Joe Flacco is the man to get this week.
After his performance last week, you really can't hate on Joe Flacco.
He's done work.
They're, you would expect that his production is going to fall off a little bit, but they are playing Atlanta, that's right. They are playing Atlanta this week, and they've had
not a good secondary.
Really shitty defense, so they're going to be pretty solid.
And then
Joe Flacco's going to do well.
Our running backs, we both agree, Shane Vereen. With Ridley going down, we agree that Vereen's going to step up, and he's going to get points, and he's going to be not a fantasy monster, but he'll be a good fit for a bye week situation or an injured player or whatever you got going.
Absolutely. Next on the list is wide receiver. My pick for wide receiver is going to be Odell Beckham Jr. Came back last week. Everybody on the Giants played poorly last week, but I don't anticipate it to continue on this week. They're playing the Cowboys. Cowboys defense is subpar. They're a very solid team, but it's going to be a high-scoring matchup, and I think that the Giants do have a chance to score a lot of points. And Odell Beckham Jr. at this point is the most talented receiver. I wouldn't say he has the most chemistry with Eli. I think Ruben Randle will get a lot of the catches, but Odell Beckham Jr. I think is most talented at this point and could get some goal line situation passes.
I disagree.
Or break and.
I disagree. I don't put him number 1. I put him up there, but I don't put him number 1. I think the best pickup, honestly, he's underrated in projections, and you know how I feel about those, is Brandon LaFell. Had a breakout game for the Patriots. Now he's coming home. Foxborough, fans behind him. I think he's going to have a great game. I think the matchup's there. I think that he's going to get the ball. I think everyone's going to be worried about Gronk, and everyone's going to be worried about this and that on the defense. Edelman. The defense are going to be focused on certain people. I think LaFell's going to slip through the cracks and put up some numbers.
Absolutely. I think he'll have a good game.
Moving on to tight end, I got Jordan Cameron. I think the matchup for Cleveland versus the Jaguars is a good matchup for him to score some points. And you have...
I had Jared Cook. I was very tempted to pick Cameron because of the matchup that they're going up into this week. The only drawbacks I have from Cameron is he's been suffering some injuries that have been holding him back the rest of the season. He hasn't produced up till last week, and I'm unsure whether or not he can sustain production. Jared Cook, on the other hand, has not been able to score a ton of points every week, but he has consistently scored in the range of 7 points every week, and has been consistent in that, and I think that can continue throughout the season.
Guaranteed 5, 6, 7 is better than rolling the dice on 11
exactly,
or none.
And getting none. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why I picked him over Cameron, but Cameron, I'd say, is an absolutely fantastic pickup this week against Jacksonville as well.
We're going to go into our unprecedented pre-waiver predictions. We think, with the best of our knowledge now, with the depth on benches, and with what could possibly be done, this is what we think. This is where we're at, and we're confident that it'll stay true. I'm going to go first. I got the Devils, myself, over Chalupa Batman. I got the Porpoises over Dope Rage. I got Kevin here over Mr. Eric Lobachek. That was my battle camp telling me some shit. And then I got OG Cormier over the Trap Lords. Now, I will say that that it's going to be, there's potential on the OG Cormier, even though he's got a lower projection, to step it up. And, you know, he's got Calvin Johnson come back in. He could switch things up. The way his lineup is set now is probably not going to beat the Trap Lords. But when he sets his lineup, which I think he will tonight or tomorrow, obviously, he'll definitely have the edge. So yeah, that's where I stand. Kevin?
Mine are probably pretty similar. I do have the Devils over Chalupa Batman. Devils have been able to score high amounts of points every week. They've done really well. And I anticipate them to continue their success this week against Chalupa Batman, who I think is just, at this point, is an inferior team. I think the
Sacco bound.
I don't think they're Sacco bound
No?
at this point, no. And I think they're going to put up a lot more of a fight than Alex Bennett predicts that they will.
I predict a fight. I think it'll be similar to how it ended last week with on the phone in the fourth quarter, the last game, both of us freaking out.
I think it'll be good, though. It should be definitely a good game. And
I do have
the Devils winning, and I'd be pretty surprised if they didn't. I think the next game I do have the Porpoises over Dope Rage. It's going to be a super close game. It's going to depend on how both of them set their lineups. But we're going to continue on. The next game I do have myself over Eric Lobachek.
Just cause.
Just cause it seems like the right thing to do. You can't really pick a 1-5 to beat a 5-1 in any situation, I don't think. And,
unless you had 8 of your 9 starters on bye.
Yeah, which is not happening. The only person I'm going to be missing is Jimmy Graham, but
he was already missed.
Yeah, he'll be back. But anyway, I think I have that game. I do think that Eric can put up a fight, though. A similar situation to the game with Bennett. I think it's going to be closer than I would like it to be. Next game, I do have the OG Cormier over the Trap Lords for the same reason as Alex Bennett. I think that once the lineups are set, that it'll be a little bit more, my brother will have a little bit more of an attractive lineup that you'll want to pick to be the winner. He's definitely going to put Calvin Johnson back in there.
Of course.
And there's probably going to be a couple other moves made to make his lineup perfect for this week. And I think that the projection for Trap Lords at this point from ESPN is a little high.
I agree. So we're going to wrap it up here. One last thing is the game of the week, yes. It's the Porpoises versus Dope Rage, and it's going to come down to Wes's running backs versus my cousin and his wide receiver core.
Absolutely. The running back situation with the Porpoises isn't bad, but it's just that the Dope Rage does have the advantage. They have a very, very strong running back core, and with DeMarco Murray, you can't really go wrong. And the wide receivers are a little shaky there, but we haven't seen the full lineup set yet. but I think that's what it'll come down to. It's definitely going to be a high-powered game.
All right,
and
guys,
it's got
bye.
the most